Wave movement. Waves in the sea that break along the shore are familiar sights to all of us. But what are waves? How are they formed? And how do they influence our dives? Contrary to appearances, a wave is not a mass of water that moves on the surface. In reality, a wave is only a transfer of energy. You can see a practical example of this by shaking a length of rope and observing it as it rises and falls. You get the impression that the rope is moving, but in actual fact, each part is only making one vertical oscillation and doesn't actually move horizontally. A similar situation occurs in waves at sea. But how do waves originate? It is the wind blowing on the surface that causes waves to form. The wind excites the water particles on the surface to make a circular movement. If the wind continues blowing, the circular oscillation gradually increases, transmitting the energy to the particles nearby and those below. The longer the stretch of sea over which the wind blows, known as the fetch, the higher the waves become, meaning that there is a greater distance between the crest, the highest part of the wave, and the trough, the lowest part of the wave. As well as the height of the wave, another parameter used to describe waves is the length, meaning the distance from one crest to the next. An important factor for divers is that the influence of the wave decreases with depth until it completely disappears at a depth equal to half the wavelength. Beneath this limit of influence, the sea is calm. The facts that we have just examined are valid for the waves out at sea. But what happens near the shore? The particles near the seabed cannot make their circular movement, and their orbit becomes flattened until the oscillating movement is parallel to the seabed. This movement is known as surge. This action slows down the bottom of the wave, and the crests get closer and higher until they become unstable and break. This creates an area of surf in which the mass of water moves, sometimes violently, towards the coast, before the undertow takes it back out again to the sea. This surf zone is dangerous for divers and should be avoided.